listening to Proof Text, a Glossa House podcast by Dr. T. Michael W. Halcomb, Dr. Frederick J. Long, Dr. Mario Melendez, Dr. Jennifer Noonan, and J. M. Smith. Welcome and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Proof Text. I'm Michael Halcomb and I'm here with J. M. Smith. Good to be back together. Good to be recording, J.M. And I'll say here at the start, head over and check out J.M.'s YouTube channel, Disciple Dojo, at Disciple Dojo. And then the website is discipledojo.org, right?
Yep, that's it. Super easy to remember.
Yeah, you're sporting the Disciple Dojo hoodie today.
Yeah, this is the original bow to your sensei, our dojo paraphrase of Isaiah 45:23. Every knee shall bow. So yeah, we have newer design. This one's, you can see it's kind of peeling. It's so old, but the OG hoodie for Disciple Dojo.
OG hoodie. Well, yeah, head over and check out JM stuff. Everything on there is free. There's a ton of free stuff on the website and on the YouTube channel. So it's good stuff. This is 10 questions where JM and I throw a verse at him. He doesn't know what's coming. And then we each ask 5 questions of it, no answering. And the idea is just to model sort of the curiosity that we bring to the text every time we return to it. So, in view today is Proverbs 15:1, and if you're watching, I'm going to pull that up on the screen here in just a minute. Proverbs 15:1. So, if you're just listening, that's fine too. You'll be able to hear this, and I'll read it in English. This is the NIV, but it says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. All right, Jam, you want to take the lead, or you want me to?
I think it's your turn. I think I did the first one last time, so I got to defer.
All right. So I am interested in. So we have the Hebrew word here, off face. It's often translated anger or nostril. I've often heard like flaring nostrils, kind of the imagery. So we have off here, and then where's the other word? There it is. This is chamash. Chama. And this is rage, or they translate it wrath. So I'm wondering, my first question is, what is the difference between chama and af? And I mean, they're two different words. So what are we really? What's the difference between them? That's the first question.
Well, with af, the verb that comes right before it, ya'aleh, that just means to make go up, or to lift up, or to raise up. And so English has stirs up, NIV has stirs up, because that's how we'd say it in English. But in Hebrew, why is this an idiom, to lift up, or to raise up, or to make go up? I think it's in the Hifil, to make go up, af, which you said means nostril, literally means nostril. Yeah. So is this talking about like making the nose go up? Is that an idiom for stirring up anger? Or is this is how you would typically say it? But yeah, I would want to, that's my question. Why is this phrase used? Why is it says to raise up or make go up anger?
Yeah, so I'm gonna stick with the same couple of words here. Yeah, ela af, what? So you asked, is it an idiom? And my question is, what is this meaning to convey? Because it's one thing for like a modern English speaker to say, like, to flare your nose up. It's another thing to turn your nose up. Those are
Right.
two very different images. And so,
Yeah.
what is the image that is meant to be conveyed here with Ya'ile Af? Ya'ile
Mm.
Af. Is it either of those, or is it something completely different?
Hmm. Well, my second question then would be the phrase right before it, Udaber etsev. So etsev, it's translated as harsh word, a harsh word. So etsev, does it mean? I mean, it means harsh, but sometimes it means painful or strenuous. I'm looking over in Hallett, and it's used to describe strenuous work or hurtful word. And it's also even has it highlighted as like related to otsev, anxious
Mm-hmm.
toil or hardship. So what is this? In other words, is this harsh word like a word that pushes you, like makes you toil, makes you work? Is it an inconvenient word, strenuous word even, or is it a harsh, like a painful word, like a mean or an attacking word that does whatever we're deciding that it does?
Huh. Yeah. So now I'm wondering about who's saying this to whom. I
Hmm.
mean, it's just a general. Seems like a general proverb, but is it actually? Is it a father saying it to a son? A boss saying it to a worker? You
Hmm.
know, who? God saying it to us? Who's speaking to whom? And what context, is this being said in?
Yeah. Well, I want to go back up to the first clause then, because a gentle answer or a tender response, it turns away heat or return. So it's the word yashiv.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hifil for shuv. The word then shuv is just the word for turn or turn around or turn back or turn aside. So which way is this turning heat or wrath or however you want to translate hema? Is it turning it aside and kind of getting it out of the way, or is it returning it? Will it turn it back on yourself? Will it bring, if you answer gently and meekly, will their wrath be like, oh well, this guy's a pushover, I can just, you know. So I don't know. I don't know if either of those are the case. But I would want to look at that verb more and see if it's ever used in that sense.
Wow, that's really interesting to think of it uh, turning. Yeah, turning like the context of being a pushover. That's pretty fascinating. Um, so we have uh, a gentle answer, or uh, the rak, tender, delicate, weak. Um, yeah, I'm, and I look at this in connection to 15:2. The tongue of the wise adorns knowledge, but the mouth of the fool gushes folly. So is the tender, the rak answer? Is it? I guess it seems like that's on the tongue of the wise. Is that's what's on the tongue of the wise? Is what is adorning knowledge? Rock. So is this connected? This gentle answer connected directly to 15:2 in that way?
Hmm. Well, now that I'm looking, I mean, this is making me want to question the translation more. And Proverbs are notorious for this. I mean,
Yes.
Proverbs are notorious for being able to be translated multiple ways, and it really does affect how they're interpreted.
Mm-hmm.
So if you translate rak as gentle or soft, that seems to be a positive. Like a soft answer turns aside wrath, or makes the wrath go back on the person. In other words, they're angry and you give them a soft answer and they're like, okay, you're right, I overreacted. So, that's the traditional way that this proverb is translated. But
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's anything, and there may not be anything to this. That's why we ask these questions. We're not suggesting that there is, at least I'm not. But how does this change if you translate rach as weak? Like a weak answer turns wrath. Like return, like if you give a weak answer, you're going to get wrath returned on you if somebody's already angry. Like kind of what I was asking about before.
Yeah.
Is that a possible translation? I mean, obviously you'd have to look at the Septuagint, see how they handle it, and maybe some of the Targumim and others. But these are the kind of questions I think whenever it comes to a proverb, I try to look at what are the possibilities and then narrow it down to what's more likely, rather than just always trying to dig up something new just for the sake of being new. There's enough of that going on, as we saw last weekend at SBL. But those are the kind of questions I'd want to ask. Like, is there another way to translate this that's very different than the traditional reading?
Wow. So I just pulled up the LXX here, the Septuagint, and I guess my fifth question then would be based on this, because it actually uses orge, and then orgas. It actually has the same word in the beginning and the end. So you have wrath, if that's how we're going to translate orge. It could that's how it's typically translated. And then you have it also ending up, but a harsh word stirs up wrath. So you have the thoughtful wrath. Wrath is destroyed. This is the way this is worded. Wow. Singular wrath is destroyed. I don't even know how to translate that just right off the cuff, because uh, the word is so weird. The wording is so weird.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at the Lexham English Septuagint. The way they tackled it is, I think it's let me make sure I'm looking at the right one. Yeah, the New English translation. No, sorry, the Nets, the New English translation of the Septuagint. They translate it as "Anger destroys even the prudent, yet a submissive answer turns away wrath." I mean, they add a whole clause. Yet a submissive answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. So they have this whole first clause, "Anger destroys even the prudent," stuck in there.
Oh yeah, they have thumos in there. That's right. In the Septuagint, that must be what they're following. So you have orge, thumon, and orgas. So that's interesting that wrath destroys even, or they took that ke as a sensive, destroys even the thoughtful or the wise. Moreover, an answer, hypopitusa, an answer, uh, a, a low answer or something to that. What would we say?
They would say it says like submissive. I guess that's where they're getting submissive from,
Yeah, it's like to fall before.
to be under. Yeah.
Yeah. Moreover, a submissive answer, desire, or so I don't understand translating orge, thumon, and orgas like as all wrath. I mean, thumon could definitely be anger. The submissive answer returns anger, but this. How do they translate luperos? That's like sad, right? Hey,
Yeah, well, and that's they just translated it as harsh, the New English Septuagint.
wow.
But
Lupe tends to be with sadness. Moreover, a sad or a harsh word raises wrath. So the Septuagint doesn't help, but it raises even more questions. Yeah, you're right. The Septuagint adds an extra clause in there.
yeah,
So, I guess my fifth question is a long way around. Is why? What do we have going on with orge and orgas there when the Hebrew has two different words? So long way around. That's my fifth question. You have one more.
well, yeah, I guess I do, huh? I want to know why the Septuagint has an extra like line. I mean, have an extra cola in there.
Yep.
So are they was there an original? Was there a Hebrew original that the Septuagint was translating from that's different than what our Masoretic text comes from? I know in Proverbs, there's a famous proverb in the Septuagint, the train up a child in the way he should go. That proverb isn't even in the Septuagint. It just completely leaves it out. So when it comes to the history of the Septuagint and what text they're working from, that's where my mind would go in this case is what I would want to figure out or try to figure out. Maybe I'd have to look at the Targum and figure out, see what they do with it. Where is this clause coming from? This anger destroys the prudent.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, wow. Is sometimes that stuff with the Hebrew text and the Septuagint, man.
Yeah, it gets messy.
Yeah, really quick too. So, well, that's 10 questions, and that's what it looks like to engage in this biblical scholarship, biblical study, really like in-depth biblical study. And you don't have to be going to the Greek and Hebrew to be asking questions. Maybe some of these types of questions, but you can do that straight from the English text too. It's just that sometimes you might not you might miss things, right, by not being having some facility in Greek or Hebrew or Aramaic. So sometimes even Latin. But yeah, man. Well, super, super interesting. I learn something every time we do this. So thanks for doing this. And if you're watching or listening and you have a verse you want us to discuss, let us know. And if you have some questions or insights about this verse, then let us know that too. Share that with us. So head over to discipledojo.org and check out at Disciple Dojo. Check out at Glosa House on YouTube as well. So check out glosahouse.com.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to stop there and say we hope that helps.
Interested in growing your ancient language skills but not sure where to start? Glosa House can help. From illustrated readers and short stories to lexicons and grammars, Glosa House offers a variety of resources for beginning, intermediate, and experienced ancient language learners. Head to glosahouse.com today. Glosa House, language resources for the global community.